clean concrete coming in, we got scrap bins going out, and we've got non-haz with the handling, and in the same day, we're loading type 1. Slowly, slowly, catch a monkey. Coming together, come on, Flo. It's Monday morning, I'm not in the yard. I'm at the Central London Penthouse project on the terrace, enjoying the grey skies of London and the fabulous architecture. We are working on the decking. Now, last week, you saw us remove the previous decking and the subframe beneath. When we did this, we found a couple of problems. Firstly, we had to clean the area, and then we saw that this membrane was not cut around the pillars for the balustrade, basically creating an L shape where all of the water was sitting here. We have since this point cut and put it flat so the water which falls between the 3mm gaps in the decking can travel out here and be managed accordingly. Also, I call them noggins. I don't know what you call them. The supports between these here, these were fitted in this way, which means they will also stop in the water. So we cut all the pieces and put them in place, and we are now beginning to screw the structure together. But when we put the noggins in place, we are in fact going to fit them like this, so the rainwater can pass beneath and it can run to a gutter and then a downpipe. The main beams for the decking support structure are fitted at 400mm intervals, centre to centre. The support pieces between them to stiffen the frame, which I like to call noggins, are at both ends and centrally. All is fixed together using 100mm timber lock screws. The key here is for the structure to sit on the membrane, but not fix to or puncture it. To do this, we use these feet called decking pads. In the kitchen, tile number 9 is about to go down. As always, adhesive on the floor and the back of the tile. Okay. We've cut around the wall perfectly, and we've used our suction cups to give us extra control and maneuver into place. Now we're just trying to line it up a bit before we drop spacers in, and we'll use the spirit level to ensure that we get it 100%. This is a vibration beater. It uses suction to fit to the tiles, then vibrates to remove any air bubbles and spread the adhesive evenly. This bathroom is progressing fabulously. You saw last week we dry fit the tiles which go onto the front of the bath. We need to fit those and we need to grout. And all the intricate cutting we've been doing, you can see where it comes together with our fantastic niches. We have one here, and we have one over here. Other than that, in this bathroom, we have to complete the second fix and fit the suspended ceiling. We started to do some basic filling and sanding in one of the bedrooms. The plastering is fantastic, and when you look at it with the naked eye, it looks 100%. But what we do is take an extremely bright light and shine it against it, because then we can see tiny bumps and imperfections which we want to correct. So we do this at this stage before we begin to apply any of the final coats. In the living room, we've taken it as far as we possibly can at the moment. We are waiting for the fireplace. Once we have the fireplace and it's fitted, we're going to box in around it. We're going to plaster this room and add mist coats. You can see the acoustic floating floor. We're going to begin to fit this in the bedrooms, the hallway, and here later this week because the flooring is also arriving. Everything is bang on point and running on time. Do you know what? We're actually slightly running ahead of time on this project. But I don't want to jinx it. Touch. And in the yard, I've had a call from Simon, and we have companies coming in collecting Type 1, and we have recycled 6F5 going out, so I'm going to head back to the yard now. Just giving the lorries a blast off before they go out on the main road. And it's just reminded me, some of the tippers which were sold lately, not mention any names or who they were sold to because they haven't given me any permission, our Scanias were P410s and some of the buyers have remapped them up to a 470 brake. Now, had I known they were doing that, I would have actually driven it before and then asked if I could drive it after. Now, we did have some older lorries which were remapped, which actually gave us better fuel efficiency and more brake horsepower. The Volvo skip lorry we had a long time ago, not the 06, the 07, but I was always afraid to do it with our Volvos and our newer Scanias because we had the full R&M. And you know, when they plug in, they'll be able to tell if you've been playing silly buggers straight away. So I didn't want to take the risk. But the people who have purchased, they're not putting them on R&M, so they have in fact remapped. I don't know, man. I worry about it. What's everyone's experience with remapping lorries? You know, because you don't want to remap it and then you cook the engine or cook the gearbox or something like that. Yeah, it does worry me. Tuesday, I'm in the yard and we have had some tyre work done. So we have two 315 steers. Now these are fronts. We don't have anything that can use these, but if the concrete lorry was working in the yard, like you could get away with putting them on the rear if you didn't have anything else. So this one, these, and these are all 315 rears. These four are brand new. Those will be the last ones I'm putting on because these ones have been punctured and been repaired, but they have plenty of tread on them, so there's no need to throw them away. And then over here, this row and this row, we have the 385 steers. Now these are what go on the front of the Volumetric. They are super heavy duty. Again, all of them have got decent tread, especially for the work the concrete lorry is going to be doing, working in the yard. And over here, we have another row of 315 steers, which, like the other pile I showed, could be used on the rear if it's only running round in the yard. We've got plenty coming in to collect today, and that has raised, not an issue, but raised something which we need to do. Now, previously, when running all the lorries, we had a system which the lorries ran off and all the drivers had a tablet. That worked simultaneously with the weighbridge system, so everything was connected. Now we don't have the lorries on the road and we don't have the volume. We don't require that system, and I'm not going to use the word extortionate, and the cost monthly. We need a much more simplified system, which means that we don't need to pay massive monthly charges. So we're exploring that at the moment because it needs to be something very simple that takes into account the material which has come off the train. And every time a lorry goes over the weighbridge, we register their number plate, the driver's name, it stays in the system. And then each time a lorry leaves the weighbridge, it deducts it from the material which came in. And when a lorry does come in with non-haz or screenable material, it tallies it all up and it attaches it to separate jobs so we can export it all off Excel. So we're looking at a couple of systems at the moment. Simon is going through them while people keep coming in and collecting material.
List all the vehicles that have been in and what you have on the system. So you select your lorry. I'll bring up the haulier, I'll bring up the name. So then we go and select products, collect all the products, then we'll put the EWC codes in. And then obviously that's the vehicle stored in there now waiting, it's on site. And obviously now you can see, if you see down here, he'll come back on the weighbridge. You can see him come back on the weighbridge now. And then obviously we'll have his weight there. Obviously they would have selected the lorry because there was the only one in. And then it produces a weighbridge ticket there for you.
So we need to make sure that it can register incoming and jobs. Yep. It needs to register what's coming off the train. Does it deduct it from the stock in the yard? Must do.
Not on this one. This is the very basic system.
Okay.
You're talking, if you want something that does that, you're talking an extra 6,000 plus on top of it.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Customer database, EWC codes, products, where it's come from, basically. We can
have products in and out.
In and out, yeah.
Can this information export to an Excel?
It can export to Excel, and you can link up to Sage.
Really?
I believe so, yeah.
That can link to Sage?
Can do, yeah. But I think that's an add-on.
Ask if we can use our existing printer. It will be good to have the payment add-on so we could take card payments, because it just simplifies the whole process, because we could take payments on the bridge rather than them coming on the bridge, getting out, going upstairs, type. Yeah. So if you could do that, please, Si.
Yeah, we'll do, no bother.
Thanks, Si.
Ciao. Yeah.
Little meeting there, talking about the new system, which hopefully will be going in soon. But we're trying to keep this as simple as possible. 2 of our lorries were sold to Euro auctions. Click here to watch a video where I sold some of our lorries to them in the past, and they have arrived to collect the 2 lorries.
What are we doing now? How are we doing?
I'm going over to the 6F5 material to take a couple of pictures. A couple of samples were taken last week, and the certification has come back. And we are A-OK with all of our testing and grading. So I'm going to put an ad on LinkedIn in a couple of days, letting people know that we are, in fact, open for business, and they can come and collect the finest and certified 6F5 from our yard whenever they are ready. The kitchen delivery has arrived. The carcasses are rigid built. The units are a mix of 300, 400, 500 and 600 wide, with various heights depending on if they're under counter, wall hung or full height. Some units fit in the lift and the others need to take the stairs. Once all is in the kitchen, we begin the installation. Adjustable legs are fitted first, and the units slot into place. We ensure all is level, all to where needed, and fixed L-shaped brackets to the 4x2 timber, which has been fitted to the wall. Then we fit screws to the top and bottom, fixing the carcasses together, making them rigid. The internals of the carcasses are EGA MFC, which is melamine faced chipboard, and the doors are a handleless 19mm MDF sprayed lacquered finish. We take the installation as far as we can while we wait for the delivery of appliances and templating for the worktop. Got my 6F5 pictures ready for LinkedIn, and it's good to see that third parties are collecting Type 1. Could do with them collecting a little bit more 6F5, but you know, it's a work in progress. I'm working on collecting out the money which was owed to us before the restructure. And I kind of collect money in a different way that I used to previously. I had to learn my lesson the hard way, that when collecting money, there will be life after collecting the money, and you have to use channels which make people feel comfortable. You're probably wondering, what gibberish is this man talking? Why is he talking in riddles? I'll explain, but it's time for an Ashville story time. Long time ago, we were working with a company and they built up a massive bill with us. Now, if I were to credit check them, I wouldn't get credit insurance against it. But you know, when you're working with someone day in and day out, you build up a relationship and the bill grows monthly, but they're always paying, so there are no alarm bells. But sometimes there comes a point when that stops completely dead and a lot of money is owed to you and they go silent. It happens to everyone. Now, it's not a problem when people can't pay you, as long as they're communicating, even if it's bad news, to say, look, I haven't got your money. It's going to take me ages. I can organize a payment plan. At least you can work with information when people are communicating. But when you're getting blanked completely, and you know those people are going to other jobs and they've got other things running. What happened when I was trying to get paid, it seemed like a good idea at the time, but the money was in excess of £300,000, and one of the company's machines were somewhere, and I blocked their machine in with one of our older lorries, which we weren't using. And I said, look, I can't afford to get knocked for nearly 400 grand. I need you to pay this bill. And they said,
you're holding us to ransom.
I said, the money is well overdue and I can't afford to get knocked. The money is in excess of 120 days and you're not communicating with me. So what do you expect me to do? They didn't pay it immediately. So I kept the machine blocked for 2 weeks until the money was paid and I was paid in full. Their machine was then collected. And since that time, that company and myself, because, you know, large companies have individuals that make agreements and then sometimes someone steps in above them and then it's amicable and you work your way through it. And since then, still work with that company to this day. We just work with different people within the company. It could have just been, you know, a bad experience for myself. But the point is that I blocked the machine in, and the point is that we did get paid. Now, I can't confirm or deny whether I would have got paid in the end if I didn't block the machine in, but I can confirm that I wouldn't have got the money as quickly because they needed to free the machine from my clutches. So I thought all was well and good. However, since that point, like 5 years ago or however long it's been, that keeps getting thrown in my face. And it kind of makes me look like a bit of a thug and a rogue. When you're dealing with majors and word gets around that they think, well,
if this person doesn't get their money, they're going to do X.
It makes them uncomfortable. And I've lost contracts and lost work because people use that as like the benchmark and say,
well, if it goes wrong with him, he's going to block in our machine, or worse, he may come to our house and expect his money.
So since that point, I've decided to apply pressure, but only using legal tools, letters, and phone calls, because to this day, I'm still not allowed to live that down. And it's a bit of a stumbling block because they look at me and think that he's gonna take it beyond business if it's a lot of money. So I'm sticking to all the normal channels and applying pressure in a way which people can still feel comfortable. Was I right or wrong for what I did? I guess that's open to interpretation. But the important thing is that we did get paid. I suspect a lot of entrepreneurs and people running businesses themselves, independents, I suspect they will think that I did the right thing because I had to do what I had to do. But majors, I think that those companies will say that I did the wrong thing, and that would make them feel uneasy. So I don't do that anymore. I keep it strictly by the letter of the law, because I don't want to get a bad reputation for trying to get money, which is owed to me. The Scanias are now getting collected, and they are sending some fine bits of kit in here to collect our lorries. So we say goodbye to another 2 tippers. It's Wednesday morning. We're in the yard. My townie is back in. So we're going to start burning on this side to get the steel down to a more manageable size that can fit in the bin. And behind me here, we're putting the grapple back on the 914 because we're going to go over to the train track here and begin to sort through some of the pipes, get rid of the ones we don't want, and then put the steel that we're not going to use into a scrap bin. We've got someone coming to look at the 586 in a couple of hours to get it going again. And while we have a sort out in the yard, the work in central London, of course, progresses. In the bedroom, we need to step in front of the bifolds to access the terrace, which is 2.9 meters wide. To build this, we're using 18mm ply and 4x2 timber. The timber work is relatively simple, as it's in 3 meter lengths and requires minimal measuring and cutting, but the ply requires a little bit more as the sheets are only 2.4 meters, meaning it takes 2 and a bit joined together. In the other bedroom, simultaneously, we are applying mist coats to the newly plastered walls and building the suspended ceiling frame in the bathroom. Once the suspended ceiling frame is complete, we begin packing the grout between the tiles using a grout float. On the floors, we use the color Blanco Moon White, and on the walls, Blanco White. Learning from the lessons of the past, while it's nice and early in our new structure, the accounts team have put together our cost daily, monthly, yearly, and we are dividing our yearly expected costs, and we've gone very heavy on them. We haven't been conservative. And if I divide that by 50 weeks a year and divide it by 5 days a week, I'm not counting Saturday. Saturday is always a bonus. We can find our break-even point, and I can see exactly how much revenue we need to generate. And then I can make assumptions. If X amount of non-haz comes over the bridge at X per ton for our handling and loading, and if we sell X amount of 6F5, then we know what we need to do to break even from that point. Trying to have a proactive approach using the numbers, but at the same time still wheeling and dealing. And now I can see that the freight operator who ran the train of non-haz a couple of weeks back, click here to watch that video, they have arrived for a meeting because we need to discuss the weighing system again. Did you bring us some of that fine concrete?
Best gear again.
Best of gear, the best of gear. Yes, loving that, having the finest of gear in the yard. Meeting with the freight operator went well. They said our track is perfect, there's nothing wrong with it. They would just like a straighter section. And I let them know that the company who came in here a while ago told me that the top would be enough. So we don't really have anywhere to go from here. We're saying that there isn't a problem with the track, but there is a problem with the track. So what the freight operator are going to do is ask the manufacturer to pop out and have a look at the top to see if they can suggest a separate system, because possibly the temporary system isn't suitable for the 14 meters which we have at the top. And as always, safety comes first. We don't want to overload a train to impact on its stopping power. My daddy's making faces. What does that mean? Let me say it again. We do not want to overload a train. We do not want to overload a train. My townie's laughing at me saying that. You're acting like I'm somebody that would bash muck into the body of a lorry to get in as much as possible. We don't do, no, don't nod. No, we don't do things like that. Anyway, in this day and age, safety comes first. We don't want to impact the train's stopping capabilities out on the main line. But at the same time, we don't want to waste money and underload the train, because you have to pay minimum charges. Even if every single wagon was underloaded, you have to pay a minimum charge as if there was a certain amount in each one. So we're trying to find that happy medium as we continue sorting out the scrap in this area. And every time I call my townie, he answers with, "What?" Which doesn't make me feel very good. It makes me feel like I'm annoying him every time I call his name. He's nodding. "What?" Even though we don't have another train booked in to take material out, the non-haz is beginning to come in again, because our friends at Thames Material have a job which has started. If you watched the video where we loaded our first train, you saw that when the lorries come in, we tipped in the corner next to the topsoil, because we didn't know when we would have our first train. Now, we're not going to do that. We have 3 piles ready for when the train does come in, and we're going to take the lorry straight up to the pile and tip next to it right now, so we don't have to double and triple handle as we have been doing in the past. as you see, we've tipped up next to the pile, which is ready for the train. He's just let us know that another 2 are incoming. So all today, you ready for this flow? We're processing. We've got clean concrete coming in. We've got scrap bins going out. And we've got non-haz with the handling. And in the same day, we're loading type 1. Slowly, slowly, catch a monkey. It's coming together. Come on, Flo. Don't be hiding behind the camera. You gonna be ready for this train flow?
Yeah.
Yeah? What's that? Look at that, see? The man is walking around, and even though we're not running lorries anymore, he's just picking up any steel he sees on the floor so people coming in don't get any punctures, and so our loading shovel don't get any punctures. What a man. Thanks, Flo. Nice. We want to fill that hole.
Yeah.
Before we fill that hole, Flo, I think we just need to dig it out a little bit. Let's wait till they finish the scrap and then put the grading bucket on the 914 and then do that, yeah? Okay. Very good. We're working hard for the money. Din, din, din. Hard for the money. Din, 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 din. We're gonna fill up a scrap bin just with the metal we picked up on the floor walking back. Hard for the money. Hard for the money.
That one is good, but you say those
Yeah.
square, yeah, is not good to get through.
Okay. So we got another 4 or 5 loads of this gear coming in today, and Flo is saying if you look at the square ones, there's probably steel rebar running through the whole thing, and that's going to damage the crusher when we're trying to break it down. So we just gave the breaker back. We're now going to need to get the breaker again and break these down and then use a grinder and cut the metal out of it. It may seem long-winded, but it's better than it going into the crusher and smashing up the crusher or ripping a belt or doing something like that. Don't get me wrong, an element of steel does just get sorted out in the crusher and then the magnet takes it off the side belt into the scrap bin, but not with stuff like this. It's a bit unknown how much steel is in there. Is it as busy as it was? Not yet, Si.
Not yet. No.
But-
Usually a bit busier.
But slowly, we are getting there. There's lorries coming in and out. The sun is shining.
Yeah.
What's that? Can we set? Has the tide turned?
Don't speak too soon.
Don't speak too soon. Simon's right. We won't speak too soon. Let's go and check on how we're getting on with the 586. So we plugged in to the 586 and we're doing a force regeneration. What I think has happened is it was being used and there was a yellow warning on the dash. And rather than let it regenerate itself or pulling out the injector and trying to clean it, I believe somebody just carried on driving it or they just kept cancelling the regeneration and now it's locked itself in limp mode. So hopefully by forcing the regeneration, we can open it up and then we can see what other faults we can find, or at that point it could be working because we did in fact pull out the injector and completely clean it because it was crystallized. But we will see. I told you about a week ago, about a job which we were doing using third-party haulage. I believe I was standing on the balcony at the Central London Penthouse project. Well, the client has come through now and paid in full, so we are now planning the deliveries, which are going to start tomorrow. We have how many tons of Type 1 going in tomorrow, Jules?
314.
We have 314 tons of Type 1 going in tomorrow. The deliveries will start at 7 a.m. And the day after, of 0 to 20 mil ballast, we have 372 tons going into the job, all using haulage companies and suppliers who we previously had relationships with. And I'm happy to say that the kind of brokering at Ashville of delivering material without having the lorries looks like it's going to work well. We'll work it out tomorrow in case there's delays on site and people get really upset with us, how that's going to work. Jules is on the phone.
No, sorry, we don't provide skips anymore, I'm afraid.
No, we do not provide skips anymore. It would be better if we had brought the material in by train and we paid hauliers to take it from our depot to the site. But we are working on that. That is a work in progress, isn't it, Jules?
Yep.
Louder, Jules. The mic's over here. Come on.
Staying positive.
We're staying positive. See it there? Jules says we're staying positive. But we have got a decent job over the line and the yard is busy. Nice. Do you know, Jules, you being in weekly is like, you know when Maggie Simpson is about to speak and she takes out the pacifier, but Maggie never speaks. That's what it's like, you being in weekly.
When you need your views up, that's when.
Yeah, I need my views up. So Jules is now in Ashville Weekly.
Yeah.
All right, we'll call it Jules Weekly, but we can get you we can get a J and we can bang a J on the screen. Michael, my brother.
You will look older than me.
Hey, Michael, you know me. I'm not really worried about what people are saying and doing. You know me, I just carry on. What are you saying about Friday anyway?
We've got a funeral Friday. I knew there was something going on Friday.
You're mugging me off, so we're not going out.
I'm not mugging you if we're going to a funeral Friday. If it wasn't an old skip man that worked with my old man, I wouldn't bother.
All right, so you've mugged me off then?
I've mugged you off really. If we can do another Friday, can't we? Ain't got to be that Friday, is it?
Is our sister coming?
No, she's got House the Lords or House the Parliament or Gucci or Louis Vuitton or someone like that she's going out with. She did say to me.
She's going out with Louis Vuitton or Gucci?
Or Gucci or someone like that, or President Nixon or someone.
Right. Okay, Mike. Right, okay.
Or what's your mate's name?
Lord Sean Bailey.
Oh, is he a Lord now?
He is.
Me and you might get one of them.
Not impossible, but unlikely. What would you get a Lord award for? Services to what?
Fly tipping?
Services to fly tipping. Hey! Your language is just getting worse by the day.
This is my problem. I've got nothing to do.
I can give you a broom. You can come and sweep the yard if you want.
I think you want more than a broom to sweep that place and state, innit?
Thank you, Michael.
I've seen cleaner rubbish tips. I've seen cleaner landfills in your yard.
But the joke is, my yard's cleaner than yours.
No. I haven't got a yard anymore.
All right. Well, my yard is cleaner than your yard was. All 40 years of your experience in organising yards, my yard is in better shape than your yard was.
No. It's all in your imagination, son.
Michael, don't make me pull up the footage. Don't make me do it.
You are a dreamer, you dream of better things, but that's not gonna happen, Daniel.
All right, let's do a montage of your old yard.
Montage. What is a montage? Is that a sandwich?
Michael, I've enjoyed this conversation immensely, but you've mugged me off for Friday, so let me know about the Friday after and if our sister will come.
Yes. Where would we be going, by the way?
Why does it matter where we'll be going? We're pals going to catch up. What are you trying to say? If it's not a good place, you're not going?
If it's not going to cost you a fortune, I don't want to be going.
Well, okay. Well, what makes you think I'm paying? Why aren't you paying? I always pay.
Well, the last time you paid, I think, what did we stay there, about half an hour?
We've never been anywhere and stayed half an hour. What are you going on about? You're just making it up as you go along. I always pay when we go out.
Didn't even you knew where your wallet was. Your mother said you lost it when you were a child and never found it.
Oh, man. This geezer. The man who heads for the exit when he sees the bill is trying to... Anyway, he just...
And Daniel, my brother, you look far older than me.
Michael, my brother, I don't run lorries anymore. I'm getting younger by the day. And your hair's getting greyer, you silver fox. Don't follow in my footsteps, Michael, because I don't know what I'm doing, and I've lost my head, and all the other things that are being said. So don't follow me, Michael.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, just carry on as you were, my friend.
Yeah, but as you know, as if I was taking notice of them people, Michael would be driving an ice cream van for someone. I don't take any notice of anybody. Daniel, my brother, it's been a pleasure once again. Over and out.
Over and out.
Roger, Dodger. Bye-bye.
I've been trying to catch up with Michael for a little while, and I offered him Friday, late afternoon, early evening for a catch-up, him and our sister. But he has now called me back and turned me down because he has to go, unfortunately, to a funeral. And the update on the 586 is that it is not working as of yet, and we are looking to see what else we can do because the forced regeneration did not clear the fault and take it out of limp mode. Time is 6:40 p.m. Just leaving the yard. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to succeed with the 586 loading shovel, but we're going to hit it hard again tomorrow to ensure, I won't say ensure because I don't know 100%, but to try and get that shovel moving again because we really need it, because as you can see by today, we are getting busier in the yard. A good day, and the sun hasn't set, and it's nearly 7 o'clock. And that's it for Wednesday. It's Wednesday. No, it's not. It's Thursday, and I'm in the yard. We didn't get through burning all of the track and rebar yesterday, so we're going to do a bit this morning, and we have a bin coming in at around midday. Now it's a 40-yarder, and we're going to use the grapple to load it, and we're going to get rid of everything you see here and weigh it in. At the moment, in the yard, we are trying to create as much space as possible, because once we start concreting, we don't want to be moving to concrete, then moving here to concrete. So rather than Ashville's Antiques and me holding on to everything to use it another day, weigh it in, get the money in, and then work out later if in fact we do need any of it, because as you know, the plan keeps changing. I've noticed that Dudek has arrived in the yard. He's not at the Penthouse project. So let's see what he's doing. It is quiet, isn't it? What are you doing here?
I bring this to download.
See how the team help. We haven't been able to go to the Penthouse project for a couple of days, and Dudek has come for a meeting, but he's brought the hard drives for us so we can download the footage so we can start to put together the montages.
Now we're going for shopping to MP Morans, and after MP Morans we have to go to Travis Perkins timber locks, which we're using for our decking structure. They have only 90 mil and we need 100 mil. Also we have to get a string line, like brick line, just to be make. You're gonna see on the video when we're gonna try get the angle for decking on the balcony. Oh, that's the man. How are you doing?
What do you need?
Nothing, just I can say hello.
You're recording, yeah, you're on the YouTube.
Where is the string line? The string line. Thank you very much.
In order that, and then we're done.
We have 5 kilos. Before you buy, you always have to check if the bag is not damaged. Because if it's damaged and it's open for a long time, the ground will be dry in 2 seconds, yeah? Grout, string, timber locks and miscoat, yeah, that's it. Now, only thing what we don't wanna have, the paint everywhere in the van, yeah? Very gently, yeah? Have a good day, yeah? Bye-bye. Usually we have everything planned, prepared to do, because usually day before, on the end of the day, we find out if we need some shopping and stuff like that, because we don't have van every day there because the parking is too expensive, yeah? If I don't have to go for shopping in the morning like today, I'm going on site, we make the plan who's doing what, how long gonna take to finish. Sometimes we swap the people because one is better with the other job than the other one. We're planning how long roughly gonna take because we like have to prepare for next step on the side, yeah? Like imagine we have kitchen. We put the chipboard floor and then we have notice about delivery of the kitchen, yeah? And then we have to planning everything just to make sure we have kitchen ready. When they will be delivered the carcasses, we have floor done, yeah? We measure how many tiles we have. We find out we have 1 tile short for the steps. I have to go on rush to get this tile, make sure is everything ready. Most important thing, we have to protect, hold the floor, yeah? Before we put the kitchen, yeah? And with everything on the side, you have to prepare this way, yeah? Only me and David going on the meetings and we know from client what they want, yeah? And we have to pass this to the guys. But we have very smart team. They understand very well and they do very good job. The most issue with the projects is the lead time for when we order something. We order the windows, people saying between 4 and 6 weeks. When you pay the deposit, they come back to you, say blah 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 issue, will take you 10 weeks, yeah? We have to work around, do the plastering, close the walls, but you still can't finish completely because you have to put the windows and do the reveals, yeah? The client said to us about TV. We asked him what TV, he just said, guys, I leave it to you, get me some good TV, yeah? Chris, our plumber, he know everything about TVs and he's gonna provide some good TV for us. If something is more harder to do, I like more, yeah? Diving board, yeah? That was challenge. If somebody can do it, Ashville come. With Ashville, we have every job is different, yeah? We not go standard, yeah? We go high standard, yeah? Do the job like the bathroom or the whole house and you see after the end, the finish, yeah? The tile on the bathroom on the wall next to the bath. You see the gap between the floor and the tile on the wall. It was like 1 millimeter, yeah? And that's what we like, yeah? Challenges.
Before Before fitting of any decking, we need to work out the best aesthetic utilization of the space. We fit timber, attach and run the string to try and create lines to work from, taking into account the L shape and how both sides will meet. The side of the kitchen is out by 20 mil, but more or less straight and runs parallel with the railing. But on the bedroom side, from where both sides meet to the end, it gets wider and the dimension goes from 2.1 meters to 2.3 meters. So we've decided that we're gonna start on the kitchen side to have as many full lengths of decking as possible. And on the bedroom side, which will still look nice, we're gonna have to compensate and have more cuts and joins to fill the space. Meanwhile, back at the Ashville yard. 40-yard scrap bin loaded. Let's see what it weighs. All right, Si, what's this scrap bin gonna weigh? Tell us. Guess.
I'm gonna say 12 tons.
What did it weigh when it came in?
18,820.
I'm not sure Simon's too comfortable about this. I'm trying to get this film in. All right. Ah, 13.5 ton of scrap.
Oh, I weren't far off my 12, was I?
Yeah. Simon wasn't far off his 12. I now have another meeting with a happy gentleman. I just received an email from one of the insurers about an alleged incident. I say alleged because I can't tell you if it's true or not, which basically states that in September, a driver hit a telephone pole with a grab lorry. This was never reported to us and it was never reported by the third party, but somehow it's gone to solicitors and there are pictures of a lorry on one side of the road and then a bent telephone pole on the other side of the road, and solicitors have been instructed, but we've never been told about it, even by the people who are suing us. As I said, I don't know if it's true, but it's just really annoying, and you know when you don't need it. And if the driver did hit it, we are insured, so why wouldn't you report it? And if we didn't, then why are you saying we did? It's just annoying, no matter how much you try to, Yeah, Matowny's doing what he normally does, he's just shaking the head. As Matowny would say, it's like banging your head against a stone wall all the time. And it's just a bit annoying when you're trying to get on and then you have to deal with problems like this. Anyway, what can you do? We push on. It's Friday. We're in the yard. And we have made a little bit of a plan for concrete. The lorries on the fashion parade at the front of the yard for potential buyers coming in, we're going to move those lorries and then we're going to leave the area at the front over there for staff to park now. The shed from the previous compound, where the shed ends, we're going to draw a line straight down and we're going to remove the staff car park. So we're going to have to remove all of the Jersey barriers here. The topsoil is going to be the last thing we're going to move. Hopefully now that the weather's improving, people will come in and collect it. Then we'll just use the machines, move around the 40-yard bins, and then think about a new place for the plant hire machines. At long last, the engine is out and they are side by side. We started ripping and stripping already. We managed to move over the drive for the volumetric gear on the back. We've noticed straight away that a new spigot bearing is needed because the one on the new one isn't turning at all. But definitely when we start getting onto the water pipes, a lot of those seals are originals from 2017. So when we start opening and moving and ripping and stripping, we're probably going to have to order loads and loads of new seals. But at least the engine is out and the work has begun. And the doggy is looking at my lunch. Back up in the brokering and sales office, Jules' natural habitat. And Jules has had another 2 orders come through today. Well, 1 order. And Jules has quoted a few jobs, but one was ordered straight away. And they did something what people don't do here. They just don't do it. They paid right away. On card, no 30 days, no 55-day payment terms, no 120 days, no chasing. They paid immediately, and we called our trusted supplier, who actually comes in here to collect Type 1 sometimes. I won't tell you who it is. And we paid them immediately. When's it getting delivered, Jules?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. See it there? Jules has got it on lock. Give us thumbs up, Jules. The prices that we are being quoted for people to deliver direct to site, we're offering people the same prices when we were running lorries. We can actually deliver it for cheaper now that we don't run lorries. That's just mad, but yeah. So we're back on the 586 now. We're going to try and get it started up again after the force regen and checking all of the connections and cleaning that AdBlue injector again. Hopefully it will start and we'll be able to get it out of the lock mode. Yep. Start, but the light is still on. Hopefully, if we can get it moving and take it for a bit of a drive, the light should clear. It may reconfigure. Ah, man. Really need the shovel working. The flooring has arrived. It's an engineered wood flooring, which is 180mm wide and 20mm thick. It comes in 3 different lengths of 1.6 meters, 1.8 meters, and 2.4 meters. It didn't work. The machine is still locked in inducement. Thought it'd be a good end to Friday, unfortunately not, but we're going to give it another go tomorrow. Somebody is going to borrow someone a computer who's going to plug in and try and just free it, and then once we run it around, then hopefully it will reset itself when diesel starts flowing and the machine gets up to operating temperature. And that's it for Friday. Saturday. We're in the yard. When I was looking again this morning at the location of the shed and the area that we want to concrete first, I decided to make the car park even smaller, just so we can try to line up, not perfectly, because I don't have any laser, but if I try to look through the lorries at the shed, I think we're there or thereabouts. We did not put the jersey barriers to be broken down to be processed. The jersey barriers, we're going to keep them for now. We're not going to do what we did with the concrete blocks. Going to give the pump a wash in a little while because somebody has bought the pump, but the finance company are coming out to look at the asset themselves. They want to take their own pictures. There's no trust in this world. They won't let us send the pictures over. And I am just finalising a report which we need to send to the Environmental Agency for the quarter of how much material came in here and how much material went out. Because of our permit in the new yard, we need to ensure that we report to them and keep them in the loop. Other than that, it's a very sunny and productive day in the yard. Also, made a decision. I'm going to keep AS14CON, the concrete lorry. Our aim when concreting in here is to do about 150 meters a day. Now, if I just keep the one in the repair bay when the engine's done, we may struggle, and we don't want to hold back the contractor who's going to do the concreting work for us. So I think I'm going to keep that Scania Volumetric because it's got the Reimer gear on the back. Flo and the lads in the yard, they are familiar with that kit. So it doesn't even need an MOT. It doesn't need road tax or anything like that because the lorries are not leaving the yard, and Flo and the lads can drive them round. A team can load one and another team can discharge in between doing other works. I believe that that is going to be the plan. And that's it for Ashville Weekly, episode 234. Click here for the Ashville website. Click here to subscribe to our channel. Click down here to see an Ashville video you may not have seen before, and click down here for last week's episode, which was number 233.